Hello, this is going to show you just some of the tools that you can use when taking the Parcc PBA geometry test. So what you can do on your own is if you Google Parcc practice test, math, you can get to the top one, mathematics practice test. And you can go to geometry or algebra 1 or algebra 2, depending on what you're taking. Let's look at the geometry. This is the one that's in March, and then the other one that's later in the year is end of year, at the end of the year. And this is our performance base. So it's being taken on the computer. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, so we have two sections, 18 total questions. We have a non-calculator and then a calculator section. So this would be the screen you see before you start. Right, it's prompting you. Let's see. If you do not know the answer to a question, you may flag it and go on. If you finish the non-calculator section of Unit 1 early, you may review your answers. Okay, you can only review the section. Sure, normal stuff. Okay, so here's the standard what a question looks like. You have a question, you have answers, and you have some tools up here. So talking about some of the tools up here, you have a notepad. So let's say you want to make a note to yourself. Check over such and such part of answer. That will forever be there. If you go back to this question, that note will still be there if you need it. Another thing you can do is highlight information. So like, okay, I have to select all that apply. Let me remember that. Let me make it pink. Or let's say there are some directions that I just want to make go away. Would that work? No. That's just how I undo the highlight. Okay, so I can undo the highlight. Now, select all that apply. So there can be multiple answers. It'll let you select more than one. And the box is, that's a good indicator that I can do that. It will be boxes if I can select more than one, versus it will be circles. We'll see it's circles. Okay, now this one is interactive. So I need to, let's see, select a place on the coordinate grid to plot point Q. So you have to plot this point Q. So let's see, okay, if I click, there's point Q. So often there are questions like that. I see here's the circles. So I know there's only one answer. Only let me select one answer. But let's say I'm not too confident in this one. I can flag it and go back to it later. And maybe I'll make myself a note. Like, not sure, could be A or B. And then I know later when I come back to that to look at that. Okay, here's one where I drag and drop. So these are the correct numbers, but you can literally pick it up and put it in here and have the answers. And the Parcc does that quite a bit, drag and drop. Here's drop down. There are my choices. So I can answer the question by picking from a drop down menu. Here's another one with select all that apply. I'm just going to answer some of these. Okay, so that was the end. But remember, I had some that I wasn't sure. So I can go to review answers, and I could have done that the whole time with this guy. So I'll review answers. Like, okay, I answered all of them, right? Status, it would say non-answered if I didn't put an answer, but I flagged this one. So let me go back to this. Let me view. And I still have the note there. It's still there. And maybe I want to change my answers. And I'll go back to review. And actually, if you want to, you can unflag it. Let me do that. Since I went back and I fixed it, let me unflag that. Okay, and I'm confident about all these. That's what I'm going to put. So I can end the section. It prompts me to review again, or I can continue on. But once I continue on, I cannot go back and change anything from the non-calculator. You will not be able to return once you exit. Are you sure you want to leave? Yes. Okay, so now here's the calculator section. Okay, now once you get here, you have more open-ended responses. And this is where you kind of have to play with the most, because you don't want to spend time playing around with all these math symbols. So let's see, enter your answer and your work or explanation. So you're actually going to be writing sentences, like explanations, justifications for your answers, and putting math here, and you can organize it whatever you think is best. So if I wanted to make a fraction, I could put 3/4 is my, I didn't read the question. Another way I could write 3/4 is 3/4. I don't have to click on anything. With geometry, you have a lot of options. So let's say I want to name a triangle, and like, well, triangle ABC is, if I go to relations, congruent to triangle DEF. You can create entire geometric proofs. So these should look familiar. You can turn something into an array. So when I click on this one, I can put something underneath. Oop. See, you gotta get used to these. So the array V, you can name something as a line. So the line L. So it has, the cursor has to be in front of it when you want it to go under. Wait, I want to delete that. What you doing? You can make angles. There's a perpendicular sign, like P is perpendicular to Q, whatever you might want to put. Let's see, you can also, you have absolute value, intervals, sets. Here's where trigonometry lives. You have your sine, cosine, tangent, and their inverses, some statistics, and more Greek letters. And so you would do that in all these big boxes. Okay, let's see some more answers or questions. Okay, so here's a construction, and let's see. Enter a description, what's happening. Again, this is open-ended where you have to explain and put math. This will be one answer. Let's say I'm not sure about this one, so I flag it, or I want to go back. I can highlight things. Oh, and this is the calculator section. So if you click here, you'll have access to the calculator. Also on the side, see how it says exhibits? This is another important point. If you click that, you get a formula chart. So that's there for you when you have this exhibits. So if I need the area of a triangle, there it is right there. Now they're not very specific, like it just says triangle. Well, what about a triangle? But that's, well, it has an A, that's the area. So that can be helpful. So notice that you have that to look at. Angle of elevation depression, more open-ended. Most of these will be in the calculator section, which it won't let me use, but it's going to be in the TI-84 calculator. I just want to get to the end here. Okay, so then I would review my answers. Oh, I didn't answer any. I answered one. So let's say I wanted to look at all the ones I didn't answer. I can click that and it will filter out anything I did answer, or I can see anything I flagged. And I go and view. Go back to my review, I'm done. Submit final answers. And I'm sure, yes, submit. So try that for yourself. Especially try to become familiar with the math type pieces. And good luck.